Thanks again for rejoining us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. The issue of terrorism and banditry will continue to be at the front burner unless something urgent is done. Perhaps the approach being taken by subnational government is encouraging terrorism and banditry. In recent times, we've also heard about those involved in terrorism financing, and it doesn't look like something is being done to bring them to justice. Pre-2015 general elections, there were allegations of highly placed individuals inviting bandits from different countries to come into Nigeria and scuttle the country if former President Jonathan does not relinquish power. Fortunately, he did relinquish power, and these guys have remained in the country. The former governor of Katsina State was fingered in that issue. And in recent times, the likes of the governor of Bauchi State has also been at the front burner, allegedly as one of those involved in terrorism financing. House of Representative member in Sokoto State is also there. Even other leaders in the north have been fingered in this dastardly act that is bringing Nigeria to its knees. In today's program, we'll look at the issue of tackling terrorism, financing, and other issues head on, and what is the best approach amidst the debate on granting amnesty to bandits and terrorists. Of course, we've seen in Katsina State where the governor released about 70 bandits. What's that for? Amidst the conversation of the challenging monster of banditry and terrorism in the country. A new batch of corps members are supposed to be undergoing their orientation, but parents are worried and concerned against the background of some of the kidnappings that we've seen in recent times. We can't forget in a hurry what has happened in Katsina State, where worshippers were picked up from their worship centers by terrorists. These and more we'll be looking at in the next few minutes. Don't forget our studio line will also be open so you can call and be part of the conversation. My guest, Professor Anthony Ijewere, is a professor of business administration, public affairs analyst, and a political analyst. Thank you for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We also have here Comrade Roy Oriabo, politician, public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Roy, one would expect that with all the information available about the impact, the destruction, the killings, the maimings that we have seen, this issue of amnesty, this issue of releasing bandits and terrorists at will is not something that any right-thinking government would give consideration, but we're seeing it happening. You want to take it up from there?
If a system or a government is overwhelmed, what do you expect? I believe the subnationals, the governors who are now saying, well, let's give them amnesty, they are overwhelmed. They have taken time to evaluate, dissect the whole issue and say, no, we cannot continue like this. If that is the solution, we should encourage them to do it. Because we can't be grandstanding when we know we don't have what it takes. Over 100 persons will be picked in a church on a single day, and we were told those persons trained for about 6 hours, and nobody questioned them. You are telling the governor not to negotiate in their own way. You cannot sit there in Abuja and be telling people in their village not to negotiate. And that was the reason when I listened to the Minister of Defense, when he was giving that order, giving that command that they should not negotiate, the governor should not negotiate with the terrorists. I look at him and say, what are you talking about? You are in Abuja under the AC, in your comfort there. You are telling people in the village. Do you know the pay? Do you know what it is? That people who are supposed to go to farm on a daily basis can no longer access their farm, and that is their source of livelihood. People who are supposed to go and worship their God genuinely and sincerely cannot do that. You are telling them not to negotiate. Over the years, we have not been able to demonstrate that capacity. As a national government, have not been able to demonstrate that capacity that we can fight terrorism. But we were told countries outside who are not part of us were able to give us that information. They gave us the information that there are persons who are financing terrorism in Nigeria. And the names was adequately released. The Nigerian government refused to do anything. We have even seen Nigerians who have also confessed that prior to 2015, that they were sponsoring, they went to nearby countries, they went to the Sahel, they went to the Futajalo, and they put some terrible individuals of this country to undermine the president in case he refused to relinquish power. Then Jonathan, in his wisdom, said, I lost the election, now they can no longer control those persons. Why would the federal government be waiting patiently? What does it take to say, let's look for these persons and question them? Once a system is not being taken care of, it will continue to develop. Because if you look at, in one of my classes in terrorism, that the reason why terrorism succeeds is because they have a financier. And once we can trace that level and say, let's cut their pipe, that is their oxygen. The finance is their oxygen. If we can cut it, you see that they will just... Okay. Now, the Nigerian government have refused to cut it. They keep on encouraging them because of politics. We are telling the governor not to negotiate. I encourage all the whole governors. If negotiation will give you peace in your territory, do it. There is no legal standing because you can't fight these people, you are aware. The governor also have information within the state. He's aware that these persons who are in Abuja are telling me not to negotiate. They are not even willing. Okay. By the time people have been kidnapped from it is your state. Kaduna is on the news. You saw what happened in Kaduna. The police were denying nothing like that. The government was denying until the people said, no, our persons are missing. Our mothers are missing. Our fathers are missing. In an arrangement like that, I encourage the governor, go on negotiate with the goal of negotiation, serious negotiation. There is nothing too big for you to get peace so that you can relax your life.
Let me push you there. Professor Ejewere, let's lap up on this foundation set by Comrade Roy Orivabo. We know from history, negotiating means more negotiations, continuous negotiation, unending negotiation. Exactly. Is that a concern to you on this?
No. If you look at the international standards of terrorism, and how the world, especially US and co, how they are curbing terrorism in the world, is total head collision. You know, what do I mean by that? You do everything to wipe them out. Because this terrorism, as we know in the country, started with Boko Haram. And from there, government was negotiating with them, especially with the Buhari government, was negotiating with them and all that. And what happened? Other groups also emerged, you know, other terrorist groups also emerged and all that. And in view of that, it's like it's now a business, you know, and guess what? Politicians now use them during elections, you know, to carry ballot boxes, cause problem in their states, and so on and so forth. And that is why it's difficult to, you know, to really wipe them out. The scenario you painted initially, that they were out to fight on behalf of Buhari if the election did not favor him, because he made it very clear that if he doesn't win that election, you know, there will be blood will flow like Babu. And when Jonathan threw in the towel, even before the total votes were counted, you know, the guys had no job to do again. Buhari and Rufai said, you have no job to do again, you can go back. And I said, no, we can't go back, we negotiated something, so pay us. And government was reluctant to do that, and they went into operation, you know, in our various forests. So what I'm saying is that negotiation is not the way out, because if you watch very well what happened in Sokoto when America sprayed some good missile there, you know, most of them took off. Some were even appealing, begging that you know, the government should forgive them. So terrorists, you don't really, if you want to achieve success, you don't negotiate with terrorists. You deal with them. That's the only language they understand. Because negotiation thing is like you are feeding them. And when you are feeding them, the more you feed them, the more groups will emerge. And once the money is finished, they come back again and say, we need more money. They kidnap more people and all that. So I think politicians, especially the financier, they should if government is serious, if the government at the center is serious, I'm talking about Tinubu's government, those financiers, they should you know, prosecute them, no matter how highly placed they are. But again, I don't know whether they are beneficiaries, and perhaps that's why they are slowing down the process of dealing with these people. I don't think it's the best. And that is why President Olusegun Obasanjo said, former President Olusegun Obasanjo made it very, very clear. He said, that was a few days ago, he said Tinubu should go out there and deal with terrorists. That when he was there, you know, the financiers dealt with them, and even the terrorists themselves, they were looking for where to hide, you know, and that he should go out there and deal with them. That's the only way that farmers can go back to their farm, and Nigerians will have peace, there will be security in the country. And that's a former military general talking. So I think minus politics. The government should remove politics and go out to protect the interests of its people, because Nigeria is a project and people voted the government into power. So the security of lives and property of the people should be uppermost in the heart of the government, and not local politics that is killing the welfare, livelihood of the average Nigerian.
All right, so, Roy, look at it from the perspective of resources accruing to subnational government, and interface it with the impact on the lives of the people as a major fear while we're seeing banditry, while we're seeing terrorism. Because you look at Zamfara State, it's on record that a former governor in that state, his actions and inactions encouraged banditry so severely in that state, and that's why it has degenerated to the level that it is now. Katsina State is not far from it. So do you want to encourage this to continue when that has been done in the past? It didn't work. People were negotiated with, they were granted amnesty, they came into the city, they were given vehicles, they were given offices, given responsibility.
But they were recruited into Nigeria.
They went back into their businesses, and even some who were recruited into armed forces, they now become the sources of divulging
spies,
official secrets and all of that. I need to put all of this together.
The power of negotiation,
yes,
cannot be overemphasized. It is easier for we to sit down very comfortable. I pray that nobody in life will be kidnapped. Then you will not be talking about negotiation. A friend of mine was kidnapped some time ago, and I know the pressure within the family framework. With the friends, all of us were bothered. Therefore, when you are in a comfort zone, you can say, no, don't talk about negotiation. For the governor to wake up and say, let's negotiate, and those negotiations are being facilitated by the people. The indigenous people are saying, we need negotiate with these persons. And they also have their own internal mechanism of even negotiating before the government intervenes. That's what the governor, these persons, we pay tax to them so that they enable us to go to farm. They were doing that so comfortable. Nigeria is an unusual society, and when we are, and approaches that work in other parts of the world might not necessarily work here. That is the truth. When my prof was saying America, there was a time America also negotiated with terrorists. They went to Iran, they brought their citizens back. They negotiated. America, as of today, have about over $900 billion for their defense for a year. How much is Nigeria voting? What is the entire budget of Nigeria? Then you are telling us we can cross there. We cannot cross, because over the years we have not been able to cross anything. Crossing a lizard is a problem to us. We want to go across people that are being sophisticated. If negotiation will give us answer, we should negotiate. It is not because we have all it takes, but because of the lives that are being lost on a daily basis. How do you reconcile that President Obasanjo, who left government almost 20 years ago, is still talking about his own methodology he used? Or not to him that the society is evolving very fast. The method that we used, Yaradua used in Niger Delta, if you are using it today, it will not work, because society is evolving. And not just evolving, and different things are happening. And that's the reason why people like Obasanjo won't take it serious on that statement. He's just saying it for saying, no, he cannot even implement it. For what we should do, the solution, I have also, my position have not changed. Now let's go down on the round table and talk to these persons. Now that we are aware of those who are financing them, let government start from there if we are serious. Not the people, the Musa who are in the bush. Not the Yoruba who are in the forest. That you are not saying, once you not go there and keep any of their relatives, they should not negotiate. You are not doing me any favor. You are not doing anybody a favor. Okay. The Nigerian government must demonstrate that serious capacity for the people to have that. When we are kidnapped, government will be there for us.
Prof,
I think. Okay,
yes,
sorry.
Yes, no, go on. I know you want
I
to
think
say
when we are talking about negotiation, we are not looking at it from individual perspective. We are looking at it from government, who is supposed to be the caretaker of the average Nigerian. Because recent events have also shown that kidnappers are not just, or terrorists, they are not just on their own. How can a stranger come to your forest, build tents in your forest, and from there they start picking your people one by one and deny them going to farm? Recent events have also shown, I don't want to mention names here, that some traditional rulers are even involved in terrorism. So as you are negotiating, a traditional ruler may come and say, "Oh, leave these people alone. They are our neighbors. We are all one Nigerians, and all that, and so on and so forth." We are also aware that some youth in the community are also involved, in kidnapping affairs in our various states. So how do you continue to negotiate? Because we have even seen a situation recently where some Nigerians have now formed a business of negotiator between them and the victims of terror. So it's now a business. So how long can we continue to encourage this? Because a stranger cannot come into your environment, and start to do all sorts of rubbish. So I think the way forward is to ensure that there should be laws, policy put in place. Forest guards should be put on alert that with time they should be going around the forests of the various states of the Federation. And no herdsmen should be allowed to be inside our forests. If they should go to ranches. That's the new. Okay. That's the modern. All right,
let's open our studio line so you can call and be part of the conversation on politics today on independent television and radio. Of course, the studio line is 080-7777-0300. Dial the studio number. Let's get your take. Roy, what's the expected impact of this insecurity challenge? To what extent will it influence 2027?
2027 is already a done deal. It's a
what do you mean it's a done deal? Maybe you have conducted the election in the realms of the spirit that some of us can't access.
No, it's a done deal in the sense that there's going to be a winner. That's what I mean when I say it's a done deal. Because the insecurity is a factor. If that is the reason why we are looking at 2027 election, these are some of the methodology that was used before. In 2014, people employed this kind of shenanigans. This mechanism will also employ that. Let us see how we can raise the level of insecurity to downplay the government that was in power then. And it worked for them. I don't see it working again because you can't continue to do things the same way and expect different results. This will not be able to change the narrative because even those who are there now, they know, they have the experience. Those who initiated what happened in 2014, they are the persons who are there. They are not the principal partners. Therefore, there is nothing that may likely be, nothing new will happen in Nigeria. It's something we are used to that will happen in 2027. Because I'm not even seeing strong force from anywhere. We are just as we are. Nothing is going on. Individually, people are not happy, but collectively, we have not been able to take a stand. That's my own concern about the issue. When you want to fight, you should collectively be able to take a stand. Nigeria have not been able to take a stand collectively. Individually, we are all taking a stand, but that will not take us to anywhere until we can make a statement collectively. It is on that we know that 2027 is not a done deal. As for me, it's a done deal.
Well, right, yes. I think I have an idea what you meant by done deal, okay. but it's not the best, especially when we are in democracy. Where democracy is supposed to be competitive, whereby parties should interact with the people, and the people in turn will vote for the best quality of our candidates that will rule them. So that resources will not be stolen, so that the interests of the people will be protected. But what we are seeing, the scenario we are seeing right now is not the best, whereby the presidency, Tinubu government is forcing other parties to belong to APC. And when you do that, there's no democracy again. The democratic flavor has been removed, and in fact has evaporated, and we're no longer a democracy. And so if that is considered a done deal, I don't think it's the best because at the end of the day, you won't get the best. And so when politicians start to misbehave, including financing terrorists, they don't grumble because you don't allow competitive environment, political environment to occur, to take place. And so what you get politicians that are rascals in their way of doing things. And so it's not the best.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very surprised that your presenter in the studio there, or your guest, is asking, is supporting the federal government negotiating with terrorists. how long can we continue to negotiate with terrorists? That means you are indirectly saying this kidnapping cases that is going on, that people are negotiating, that it should continue. That is another kidnapping in disguise. That means you are negotiating with people that are coming to kill people in the farm. Okay, how are you negotiate with them? Their weapons, their arms are still with them. And when they don't eat the money, they fall back to the business again. I'm very surprised that the man is asking federal governments to negotiate.
No, he gave his reasons. He gave his reasons, just like you are advancing your reasons why we shouldn't negotiate with terrorists. He gave his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion.
When you see what is going on today in our society, such advice should not be given to the people, because it's totally wrong. Because when you keep on negotiating, they see it as a lucrative business that they come up in different sects, in different names, just to extort the money from the government.
Okay.
The money which the government wants to use to negotiate, they should channel that money to buy more arms to crush those bandits and those terrorists.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you for your views. Thank you for your views. Our first caller on the show saying monies for negotiations should be channeled into empowering our security agents with more sophisticated equipment and technology to deal decisively with these guys. But the interesting thing is that when a family member is kidnapped and the family is under pressure to have their loved one released, I'm sure they're not going to wait for the government and all of that, as is always the case. Anyways, studio line is still open, 080-7777-0300. Give us your name and where you're calling from, and then go ahead with your contribution. Hello, caller, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JB Dennis calling from Stapler Road.
All right, JB Dennis, go ahead.
The first thing I want to quickly react to when you interview EJ Afenifere concerning the 3 ambassadors, those separation was going to one-sided.
Yes.
It's a pity situation. How can a 3 ambassador be one-sided, one secretariat district with all carry all of them? He makes so many appointments. Okay, for example, now the governor now reacted to all those things. Now they will say the governor is not party leader. It's a comfort. At least if the police come out like this, they're supposed to spread it into 3 districts so that there's not going to be a problem. Now, concerning the security, the kidnappers, for example, now, if the girl there is very right, because if my child is there and under the kidnapping, then we are waiting. If the federal government cannot do anything, you are asking me not to pay that one. Because of the failure of the government, they cannot secure. That's why I see that people are paying those money. Not that they really have. Some of them have borrowed those money to go and pay kidnapping. Not that it's okay, but it's because of the situation. The area that I am facing, just like a Katsina State governor, say you want to grant amnesty to terrorists. And then you grant amnesty before 3 months, this go back to the creek again. That is what I am facing. That's just my thing this morning.
All right. Thank you, JB Dennis. Thank you. Our studio line is still open, 080-7777-0300. Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and go ahead with your contribution. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, where are you calling us from? What's your name?
Solomon Ataga.
Oh, Solomon Ataga, please go ahead.
From Igbo land.
Yes, go ahead.
First, the first guest you interview, I want to beg Nigeria. This is not about when you are in my party, anything you do is right. This same Buhari is complain of. They were shouting hallelujah under Buhari, that Buhari is the best president. Nobody. When we enter this democracy as start, the blessed memory late Tony and Nene, they will be able to be calling the president in order, which is your ambassador, under the same party, when he did things that is not good. Today you came on here and said the president have increased the RGRO for the governor. We have Ministry of Work in this country. The past Minister of Work, Fashion Latin, today have not been investigated. All the money that was pumped into the Ministry of Work. Today now, if I ask David Omai, the Minister of Work, how are you using the money? Can they give us? The revenue that increased, is the president visit each state, seeing the development so they can give evidence of that? The answer is no. He have never paid a visit to this state now. Talk let's know how they are using it. They're coming to we are working. This crime will continue again because the governor is working, as you said. The flyover now, if the people say, let's know the details, let's be transparent, can he tell us? After when he leave office now, you will now hear that it was also billion. Hey, it's too much. So these are the same problem we are. It's still like we are moving in one circle. Therefore, the issue of kidnapping, I believe the government have the power if really they want to fight them. We cannot negotiate with terrorists. Okay, can I come and form terrorists in Igwebe now, disturbing the peace of the state, waiting for government to come and negotiate with me? No. Let's crash them. Who are these people? Are they more than our military, the police and all that, our air force? Are they more than us? What are the weapons they are using? Are they making the weapon for only them alone? So those are not, we don't really understand where we are.
All right. Thank you very much, Solomon Ataga. Our last caller on the program today. We also want to say big thanks to everyone who made a contribution to our conversation. Big thanks to Honorable E.G. Agmayuma, who joined us earlier. Comrade Oriba, thank you for coming.
Thank you for
Professor
having
Anthony Jure, thank you
It's
for
a
coming.
pleasure.
And to all our listeners and viewers, we appreciate you. To the crew behind the scene, making this a huge success, thank you so much. And I'm Sonny Duke Okos. We'll be here again next week, Saturday, God willing, for a fresh installment on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Have a great weekend.